on national identity, multicultural recognition, migration, and the role of religion in post-imperial politics, wittingly or unwittingly bear traces on our long colonial moment. You can see that's a highly academic expression. He's currently researching the manner in which European citizens born on or with kinship ties to the Caribbean outposts of the EU, that is the French, Dutch, and the British Antilles, appraise the contestations surrounding citizenship and the culture in the Netherlands, France, and the United Kingdom. This research is a continuation of Guadeloupe's work, which has been published in, among others, his two most recent books, Chanting Down the New Jerusalem, Calypso Christianity and Capitalism in the Caribbean, and Adieu and the Knickers, Coolies and the Macambas. Well, it's a long title. Anyway, I would like to say by way of introduction that the migration of peoples is an unavoidable reality of our world and society today. The fact is that migration has always been a part of humanity from olden times. In recent times, however, it has seen an explosive growth due to turmoils, wars, and economic hardships around the world. So if you happen to be in another country, apart from the one of your birth, it's because of circumstances. That said, when people migrate, it brings changes to the giving as well as the receiving communities. There is supposed to be a net benefit or gain to both sides of the equation. And that is the ideal expectation to have. Now, today we see a lot of imbalance, and this sometimes gives rise to social and racial tensions. So we want to look at some of these issues. Hopefully we can cover enough ground, so we are a bit late. Welcome, I want to say to Dr. Francio, welcome to Radio Voice of Naija.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're having me here today.
Well, can you tell us, please, tell our listeners briefly what your main focus has been as far as your research is concerned, and why you chose to study along those lines?
Well, let me try and make it less complicated than how it's written down.
Yeah.
I think that two things are the issues that human beings need. One is recognition.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, of course, redistribution. Redistribution of wealth and goods and so forth. Migration is an issue that happens the moment people move to another place.
Yeah.
What they long for is recognition by those who have been there longer, so the settled population. And the other thing that they need is that the goods that are around, the wealth, that it's redistributed. Not redistributed because they're there, but redistributed because they're working hard to partake of that society. So I think these two things are important. And what I've been researching is how persons of migrant extraction, various parts of the world, primarily the Caribbean, but various parts of the world, now my research has moved to the Netherlands, how they are contributing to this society. So I do not believe that you can integrate into something, but I'm researching how they're integrating with the Netherlands and transforming the Netherlands in that process.
Also, that you make a decision between integrating in and integrating with.
If you integrate into something, the notion is actually that
you lose your identity.
You lose. If you integrate with, that means that which was is necessarily going to be transformed, but you also are going to be transformed. But you're not going to be completely the same. Change, exactly. Oh, okay. Everyone will change in the encounter.
So when you integrate with, you form a composite, let's say, union, I mean, whereby your originality still remains, but still you are a part of this, whatever society or community you join in. You'll change somehow, but still your originality is not lost. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. So you agree to change in the exchange. That's what integration with is. Yes.
Awesome. Now, so how important is your field of research to the ordinary person on the street? Because somebody who's listening to me may not understand, this level of academic discussion. But how relevant it is to somebody who's listening right now?
I think it's vital to the various sectors of society. It's vital that we stop thinking about immigrants as persons who actually do not belong, as outsiders. I think it's important for all of us to think of each other as insiders. Insiders, some that came earlier than others. So it will not work to use the old terms as the alloctons and the autochtons.
Yeah.
I do not believe in that. I think we should use terms like the old comers and the newcomers. That means we're all coming from someplace,
Right, yeah.
and it's important then to find some form of consensus which allows difference to continue to exist.
Wow.
Thank you very much. So we must see ourselves as one. In fact, we all live on the same earth. You know, the earth has different parts, but we can feel free to move from one place to the other and be a part, you know, of the same human family. Absolutely. So everybody is a part. You know, it's supposed to be a part of, you know. One community. What you may be an old comer or a newcomer, you know, it's supposed to be loved. I like that. Okay, so but what are some of the your main findings as far as migration is concerned, and what is its impact on our multiculturally diverse society of today?
Well, I think there are many things that can be said. If you look at the impact of persons of immigrant extraction, then one of the things that I noticed in a lot of research whereby many women, especially, so it's a gender issue, many women work with the elderly in this society. Many women of immigrant extraction. What I have noticed is that to a large extent what these women have been doing is they've been transforming the notion of how you treat the elderly. And by that I mean there is a deep respect in many cultures built into when a person gets old, that person is a wise person and you're supposed to treat that person with an enormous amount of respect. Right. I noticed in my research that many of the elderly persons living in elderly homes, they have an enormous support because of these women of immigrant extraction, because of these newcomers, the way they are taken to the bar, the way they are listened to, the way they are recognized as persons who have something to say. It's very important.
So why did you focus on the treatment of the elderly? Why?
Well, one of the things that I believe is important is that we do not forget those people that seemingly are invisible or rendered invisible in our society.
Yes.
The elderly are highly visible, but oftentimes they're rendered invisible, oftentimes because they're put away into old folks' homes. But even if they're put away, we should ask ourselves, what is happening to them? Because, of course, their societies has been transformed enormously. Now, I see that the women, the newcomers that are coming in of immigrant extraction, I see them as mediators. They are, to a large extent, teaching these older folks how to deal with the change. And that's very important. Wow. And I think it should be said oftentimes that for many elderly persons, it is these women that actually teach them, well, the society is changing, but you need not be afraid. Everything is going to be okay.
Wow.
Interesting. This is totally, you know, from a totally different angle, you know, looking at migration and the impact of migrants on the elderly society.
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, you're listening to us, our dear listeners, this morning on Radio Voice of Naija. We're talking about the role of migrants in building a new society.
Yes.
Now, what do you mean by new society? Can you define that? Is it a society that's more tolerant or more accommodating of perhaps the weaker and the elderly in society, or more accommodating of newcomers, as we put it? What is a new society here?
Well, to me, it's understanding. I once did a book called Zo zijn onze manieren with Vincent de Rooij. We edited that book. And in that book, in the introduction, I argued that it is important to understand the Netherlands not as a place, but as a project. If you understand it as a project, then you can ask yourself, so what is our project and how can I contribute to that project?
Yes.
I think the society that we need to build is a society based upon what was called and still called caritas, a society built upon care, care for each other, whereby knowledge has a place, but care must be substantial, hope must be important. People must have faith in the future. I think that these are issues that matter. So these three, faith in the future, hope that everything is going to be all right, and the question of care for each other. I think that these are the ingredients you need to actually build a healthy and a new society.
So a society that has sensitivity or tolerance, if you like, towards everybody. That doesn't make it more stable and more strong, as opposed to just you know, depending upon just knowledge and expertise and money and fame. but we should build into it care, more sensitivity towards care, and being there for one another, if you like.
For sure. I mean, knowledge is important, technologies are important, but of course there's the living element. There are human beings. And in that living element, and in a society based upon caritas, is of course a society of solidarity, if you want to call it another word, but it's a society where we have inner critique. So you have that inward stretch continuously. And I think one of the things that I found in my research is that you see the youngsters are teaching their elders as well to do that inner stretch, to be able to say, hey, how are you treating someone of another cultural extraction?
Are you saying that that element we're talking about, has it disappeared or is going down, and that's why we have to re-emphasize it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that it's always necessary to renew that, because we know we have a long history as humankind in which we oftentimes forget that. We oftentimes have treated each other and still continue to treat each other as objects.
Are you a religious person?
I believe that if religion means that we should always be binding each other, yes, then I am a religious person.
Is that a factor in this, convictions you have about, regarding your study, your influence in your study?
For sure, definitely. I believe that people binding each other into communities, open communities, is vital, and I think that has been a major ingredient in religiosity, to remember the other, to love your neighbor as yourself, which is an impossible command, but it's a command at least that we should try and live up to. So I think that the various religiosities have contributed to this, and I think if we're going to build a society, we cannot forget the role of religiosities. All different institutions have a role to play, and I think religions have a role to play as well.
Thank you. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen, on 027371619. Dr. Francio is here to answer your question. Did you hear something he said you didn't understand, or did he make a statement you disagree with or agree with? Give us a call right now, 020737161. We'll take a musical break in the meantime.
The up one.
So, I hope all this is making some sense to you. You as a migrant, you are important. Don't ever see yourself as an outsider. You are an insider. You are in the land, and you are part of the land. You have some goods to deliver, and we want you to feel confident enough to deliver the good. Let nobody intimidate you. You belong here, and you must give your quota. Give us a call, 03. I beg your pardon. 020-737-1619. Radio Voiceofnaija. We'll be right back.